I've only told this story once, and even then I left pieces out. We were sitting by the fire, me and my wife, when she asked why I don't talk about my family, why I don't go back home, why I flinch when the attic door creaks open in our new house, even though I know it's just the wind. I tried to smile. I even opened my mouth to lie, but something inside me broke. And so I told her, not all at once, not like a movie, just quietly, like confession, like bleeding in reverse. We moved into that house when I was 11. It sat at an edge of town where the woods pressed too close, like they were always listening. The property had been abandoned for years before we arrived, sold cheap after the last owners vanished. My parents called it a fresh start. We needed one. Dad had been laid off from the paper mill, and Mom was working double shifts at the diner. They said we'd make it work, said we'd fix it up together, said the silence would be good for us. But the house wasn't silent. Not really. It had a voice. It just whispered. At first, everything seemed okay. The air was stale, the paint was peeling, and the pipes shrieked when you ran the water. But it was ours. I remember unpacking my books and lining them up by the window in my new room, watching moths slap against the screen as dusk fell. Ben, my older brother, was 19, just old enough to be the adult in the room when our parents were too tired to pretend anymore. He helped Dad patch the drywall, fix the gutter, even taught me how to hammer in a nail straight. He liked the house, said it had character, but character's just another word for history, and history doesn't forget. The first time I felt it, I was brushing my teeth. It was late. Everyone else had gone to bed. The house creaked and popped like old bones settling under blankets. I stood at the bathroom sink, foam in my mouth, eyes drooping, when something breathed against the back of my neck. Not wind, not a draft, breath. I turned around fast, so fast the toothbrush flew from my hand and clattered to the floor. Nothing, no one, but I swear, the mirror fogged up like someone had just whispered against it. I didn't tell anyone, not then. Kids get written off so easily. Too many cartoons, not enough sleep, overactive imagination. All those grown-up words meant to stitch over fear like a bandage. I just slept with the light on that night. And every night after, it escalated slow. The kind of slow you don't notice until it's too late. Ben found claw marks in the basement, not on the floor, but on the ceiling. He laughed it off, but his eyes didn't match the sound. Mom started forgetting things. Not little things like where she put her keys, but big things, like forgetting that Dad had told her he was working late and calling the mill to accuse him of disappearing. She would zone out sometimes, standing at the kitchen sink long after the dishes were done, just staring into the drain like something was about to crawl out of it. And Dad started drinking again. The tension spread like mold, quiet, but everywhere. I could feel it in the floorboards when I walked. I could feel it in the air when we ate dinner, chewing through silence like it was gristle. Something in that house was watching us unravel. Worse, I think it liked it. One afternoon, I came home from school and the house smelled wrong. Not rotten, not like gas or mildew. It smelled warm, like meat left in the sun, like something had been alive and wasn't anymore. I found Ben upstairs standing outside the attic door. It was cracked open an inch, just an inch. He didn't touch it, just stared. "You hear it too?" he asked, not even looking at me. I nodded even though I wasn't sure what I was hearing yet. The attic didn't creak or groan. It didn't whisper. It throbbed. The air felt thick near it, like syrup, like gravity was wrong in just that one spot. He finally closed the door and slid the bolt. "Don't open it," he said, "no matter what." I didn't ask questions, not then, because part of me already knew the answers would make it worse. A few days later, something started knocking from inside the walls, once at midnight, once again at 3:13 a.m., always in threes. Dad blamed the furnace. Mom blamed rats. Ben stopped sleeping entirely. I caught him standing at the base of the attic stairs again, one night around 2 in the morning. He had Dad's hunting knife in his hand and was talking under his breath, not praying, not quite. "Whatever you are," he whispered, "we're not afraid of you." He lied. I could see it in his eyes. We were terrified. The last thing I remember clearly was the day Mom stopped calling me by my name. She was cooking breakfast, pancakes. I sat at the table and smiled because it felt almost normal. Then she turned around and asked, "Where's the younger one?" And I said, "Mom, I'm right here." She stared at me for a long time, her face blank. Then she dropped the spatula and walked out of the room without a word. She didn't come back for hours. Ben found her in the attic that night. The door had been bolted from the inside. She was standing in the dark, eyes wide open, muttering something over and over in a voice that didn't sound like hers. "It's hungry. It's hungry. It's hungry." Ben carried her out. She screamed the entire time. We didn't sleep that night. None of us did. Because for the first time, I think we all realized the same thing. We were not alone in that house, and whatever was with us was done waiting. Mom didn't speak for 3 days. She wouldn't eat, wouldn't sleep. Just sat in the living room armchair with a blanket over her knees, hands folded like she was waiting to be judged. Her lips moved sometimes, but no words came out, only silence, like the house had stolen her voice. Ben and Dad argued in the kitchen a lot during those days. They thought I couldn't hear them. "She was locked in, Dad, from the inside. She's exhausted, probably sleepwalking." "She was chanting," Ben snapped, over and over, the same thing. "It's hungry," over and over. "I won't have this house blamed for our problems." Dad's voice dropped into a low, dangerous growl. "We are not crazy. We are not cursed. We are staying." That was the end of it, for him. But Ben was already planning something else. He came into my room that night, knife in hand, eyes darker than I'd ever seen them. "You trust me, right?" he asked. His voice didn't shake, but the hand holding the knife did. I nodded. "Good. Then listen to me. You pack tonight, quietly, Just your clothes and that stupid bear you won't sleep without. We're leaving. First light." I wanted to ask where. I wanted to ask how. But his eyes told me he didn't have answers. He just had desperation. And I trusted that more than I trusted anything in that house. That night, everything felt wrong. The air was too still, like the wind had stopped breathing. Even the trees outside didn't move. It was like time itself had been pinned in place, held down under some invisible hand. The attic door unlatched itself at exactly 2 a.m. I heard it from my room, louder than it should have been, like it was right beside me. I sat up, heart thudding, pulling the blanket up to my chin like it could protect me. Then I heard Mom's voice in the hallway, but it wasn't right. It was stretched, like a recording played too slowly. She was humming, a lullaby, one she used to sing when I was little. Only she wasn't in her room, and she hadn't sung to me in years. I crept into the hallway and saw her standing beneath the attic stairs, bathed in the pale blue light of the nightlight. Her head was tilted back, eyes locked on the ceiling. She was swaying slightly, the hum warbling in her throat. Then she stopped and turned. "Come back to bed," she whispered. I froze. "Mom." Her face twitched. Something behind her eyes shifted, like her skin was wearing her wrong. "I said come back to bed," she repeated, voice low and guttural. "You don't want to see what's coming." Then she smiled. Not the kind of smile that says I love you, the kind of smile that says I've already decided. Ben yanked me backward by the arm, dragging me into his room and slamming the door shut. I hadn't even heard him come out. He locked the door behind us and pushed his dresser in front of it. "We're not waiting for sunrise anymore," he whispered. "We're going now." The power went out the second we stepped into the hallway. Every light in the house popped at once. The bulbs didn't flicker. They burst, showering glass into the air like fireworks. The hallway was pitch black, the kind of black that doesn't just hide things, it waits for them. Dad was already downstairs when we reached the landing. He had a fireplace poker in one hand and a flashlight in the other. He looked at us like we were strangers, his face pale, jaw tight. "What's happening?" he demanded, voice trembling. "The house is alive, Dad," Ben said. "You know it. You've known it for weeks." "That's nonsense. Tell that to the thing in Mom's skin." There was a silence then, heavy, dense, like the air had gone thick with something unspoken. Dad didn't argue. He just turned toward the front door and said, "We leave together." I almost believed we'd make it. But the house had other plans. The front door wouldn't open, not locked, not jammed, just wrong. The handle twisted but didn't catch. The deadbolt turned endlessly, like it was no longer connected to anything at all. Dad cursed and slammed his shoulder into it, but the wood didn't budge. Then we heard it. Thud. From upstairs. Thud. Again. Closer. Each footstep was impossibly heavy. The walls seemed to warp with the sound, groaning inward. Dad turned to face the stairs. "Get to the back door," he said. "Now." Ben didn't move. "It's faster to the attic." What? Why the hell would we go up? We're not getting out. We hide, Ben snapped. The thing on the stairs laughed. I can still hear it, still feel it in my bones. It wasn't loud, it wasn't maniacal, it was quiet, confident. It knew us. It had been watching, listening, waiting for the moment we gave up hope. Dad looked at me, then back at the stairs, and then he ran. He didn't wait for argument, just sprinted at the figure coming down, shadows twisting across the walls behind it. He raised the poker like a sword and screamed, "Go!" Ben grabbed my hand. Mom, if it was still Mom, just stood there swaying again, her mouth beginning that low hum. And then Ben did something crazy. He ran to her. "Mom, look at me," he said, voice shaking. "You're still in there. I know you are." She didn't blink. Her head twitched toward him, face blank and distant. "You're stronger than this thing. Come back." For a moment, she didn't move. Then her eyes fluttered, twice, like blinking off a dream, and she gasped, "Ben?" He nodded. "It's me." She looked around in horror, like waking up underwater. "Where's your father?" Ben didn't answer. She didn't ask again. Instead, she reached down, grabbed the flashlight Dad had dropped during his charge, and turned toward us. Her hands were trembling. Her voice cracked. "We need to move. Now." And we did. The attic stairs trembled beneath us, groaning with every desperate step. Mom led the way, flashlight shaking violently in her grip, illuminating horrors I'd never imagined possible. Shadows peeled themselves off the walls, whispering vile promises as we ran past. My older brother, Ben, stumbled behind me, his fingers tight around my wrist like a vice. "Keep going," he gasped, blood trickling from a gash above his eye, dripping hot onto my skin. "Don't look back, okay? No matter what happens." But I did look back. I couldn't help it. And in that moment, the world fractured. The hallway stretched impossibly behind us, twisting like a snake, pulsing with crimson veins embedded in the peeling wallpaper. Something moved at the end of it. A dark shape, massive and jagged, crawling rapidly along the ceiling. Its eyes, two pits of sickly yellow, burned into me, marking me for something I didn't understand. Mom screamed up ahead, wrenching open the attic door with desperate strength. "Quickly, hurry," she shouted, her voice cracking, almost gone. But the demon was faster. The shadow surged past me like an icy wind, a black blur of claws and teeth. It tore Ben away so suddenly that his hand remained gripping my wrist even after the rest of him was gone. His screams, wet and gurgling, filled the house. The shadow devoured them greedily, turning his voice into echoes of laughter, dark, mocking laughter. I stumbled up the stairs, my legs numb, moving only because staying meant death. At the attic doorway, Mom's eyes met mine, wide, terrified, hopelessly apologetic. "I love you," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the hungry shrieks that swallowed Ben's final cries. Then it was upon her, wrapping around her body like ink, spilling into water. She vanished into darkness, her form dissolving into writhing shapes that twisted in agony and vanished. Her flashlight clattered to the floor, rolling slowly toward me, casting wild, spiraling shadows. I was alone. The attic door slammed shut, plunging me into silence. I could hear my own ragged breaths echoing off wooden beams. I crawled forward in the suffocating darkness, toward the tiny, dirt-streaked window I'd always hated. Now it was my only chance. Behind me, something shifted. Wood creaked, bending under an unseen weight. The demon was here, breathing, watching, waiting. Its voice slithered across my mind, soft as silk and sharp as glass. "Leaving so soon, little one. I've saved you for last." With shaking hands, I smashed my elbow into the window, shattering glass that tore into my flesh like teeth. Cold night air rushed in, filling my lungs. Below lay freedom and a drop that might kill me. Behind me, darkness crept closer, whispering my family's names. I jumped. The ground slammed into me hard, stealing the air from my lungs. Pain radiated outward, but I forced myself up, stumbling away, leaving bloody footprints across frosted grass. Behind, the house loomed, windows glowing red with sinister promise, curtains shifting, a silhouette waiting patiently. As I ran into the night, a single, haunting thought followed me, more chilling than the wind slicing through my skin. It let me go, and I knew deep down it wasn't mercy, it was hunger. The demon wanted something more than blood. It wanted fear, and it knew I'd carry its horror forever. The fire has burned low. My wife hasn't said a word since I stopped speaking. She just watches me, quiet, like she's afraid to ask if it's really over. I don't blame her, because sometimes, late at night, when the house creaks just right, I hear it again, the breath behind my ear, the hum in the attic, the whisper of my name in a voice that used to belong to my mother. I moved thousands of miles away, changed my name, built a life out of new walls and clean silence. But the house never needed to follow me. It lives in me now, and some nights when I close my eyes, I swear I see it, waiting at the foot of the stairs. I glance at my wife. Her eyes are distant. Her lips move, barely. At first, I think she's whispering my name. But then I hear it, soft and steady. A chant. It's hungry. It's hungry. It's hungry. If you're still breathing, go ahead and like the video. Subscribe if you dare. There are plenty more nightmares waiting for you. And whatever you do, don't forget to ring the bell. It's the only way you'll hear the warnings in time.